What are parallel lives? How could time be simultaneous? My experience of time is linear. I went to high school in the past, and I'm planning for my next vacation in the future. What does it mean that all is one and that it exists right now? I hear these questions all the time, and I love them. You are about to have your mind expanded and your understanding of time, lives, and existence completely altered. I am Mira Kelley, and I'm the author of the best-selling book Beyond Past Lives. I guide people to experience their past, future, and parallel lives in order to receive emotional and physical healing. To answer your questions about parallel lives and the simultaneity of time, let me take you on this adventure in time, this adventure in consciousness, the way it happened to me. I very vividly remember the very first time when the concept of the simultaneity of existence was revealed to me. John was my very first client outside of my circle of family and friends. He experienced 6 lifetimes, all of which overlapped in time. They all transpired in the same 140-year period between the 1900s and the 2040s. In 2 lives he saw, he's still alive and thriving right now. The session with him began as any other session would. In his first life, John experienced himself as a man in his early 30s. John first stepped into that life on the day his son was born, and he was really happy to have him. When telling me about himself and the development of his life, John was very specific with names and dates. John was born around 1910. He was a rich banker who lived in New York City. His son was born in 1940. He explored how his son died in a car accident in 1957, how his daughter got married in 1963. Later, John's wife died and he lost all of his fortune. He ended his life in 1978 by committing suicide. The way he described to me the suicide scene was very intense and so emotional. I felt that I was right there with him, watching a suspenseful drama unfold. John's spirit rose from the body after the body died from the gun wound and went to the other side. On the other side, he was met by his spirit guide. John and his spirit guide discussed the need for John to be reborn again and face the issues he was unable to face during the life he just abruptly ended. He experienced himself being reborn very quickly. And this is where things got very strange for me. John was born with a darker skin color in the south of the United States, and he was adopted by a white family. It was the summer of 1950. When John said that, I literally froze. I held my breath. I leaned back in the chair as if attempting to disappear, and I was hoping that John would not hear me breathing, because somehow in my mind I thought that he might snap out of the experience he was having and start judging it if he accidentally hears me breathing. In the life he had just previously reviewed, he died in 1978, and there he was again, being reborn in 1950, in a different life. It didn't make any sense to me at all. But I was listening, and I was so grateful he continued describing his lives to me. We reviewed the entire second life. In it, John died in his 90s, which brings us to the year 2040. And to make matters even more perplexing, my client, as the person he is today, was born in the mid-1980s. And this adventure in timelessness continued with 4 other lives, which also took place in the same 140 or so year period. At the end of each regression, I always guide people to connect to their guides, with their teachers, with their higher self. I do this so that we can integrate the experience and learn how what they just experienced in their other lifetimes connects to who they are today. What can they learn? What can they do differently in this lifetime? In John's case, I was conversing with his spirit guide. When speaking with his spirit guide, I asked him why all 6 lives overlap with each other and with his current life. The spirit guide explained to me that all lives are lived simultaneously. The traditional understanding I have always heard of up until that point is that amongst all souls, there is your soul, and that one soul moves from one body to another, from one life to the next in a linear progression of time. John's spirit guide explained to me that our souls outside of this earth existence, to them there is no time, so the soul is not limited by time when it chooses to create its lives on earth. For the sake of clear distinction, let's call this soul an oversoul. And the oversoul wants to fulfill its purpose as a creator. It wants to know itself as the manifester of experiences, and in the process of it manifesting to know its creative power. And the oversoul chooses a field of study, and let's say it's the study of love. And so now imagine a circle, and in the middle of the circle is the desired understanding of love. In some lives, and this oversoul may create close, loving relationships with lovers, with friends, with family members, with business partners. But this may be a very one-sided learning, wouldn't it? To learn about love, the oversoul may also choose lives where the person is abandoned at an early age in an orphanage. Then, later on, they meet the love of their life. But they cannot trust that love will stay, and so they cannot open their heart and to surrender into love. So they abandon and they run away. Abandonment and loyalty definitely teach us about love, don't they? In another life, the oversoul may choose to learn about love and devotion by raising children, by taking care of ailing parents, or by devoting to a big cause, to big ideas, such as love for the country or love for humanity. In one life, the oversoul may choose to experience an arranged marriage, and in another, it may choose to go through a painful divorce. And you can imagine many more situations where love is understood through the benefit of a personal involvement. Each one of these experiences is a point on the circle. And when you imagine standing at each of these different points, looking towards the center of the circle, where the question of love was posed, you can see how each provides a different point of view. Each life teaches the oversoul and contributes to its understanding of the question, of itself, and also of existence. And now imagine how, in order to create these lives, the oversoul creates splits of itself. It takes from its energy and it creates a separate piece of itself. These souls are what goes into each life as the soul we know, as the soul we have. Each of these souls is whole and complete, and there is nothing less about it as a creator of experiences. The oversoul can arrange its life to seem as if there is a linear progression. Or an oversoul can pick a specific period and have some of its lives to take place simultaneously. In John's case, that period of 140 years is a fertile ground for experiencing the understanding his soul is seeking to gain. The understanding of simultaneity of existence in the field of past life regression is very, very novel. Up until the moment I encountered it myself in a session, I actually had never read about it, nor heard anyone else talk about it. The session with John was mind-blowing. It changed his life, and it also changed my life too. It was the first of many clients who brought me a new and greater understanding of time and also the nature of reality. I share John's story in much greater detail in my book Beyond Past Lives. I encourage you to read the full story there. People transform powerfully when they experience the emotions, the understanding, and the profound lessons of their other lives. In Beyond Past Lives, I share the life-changing lessons I have learned from my clients to help you find support and understanding, and also to empower you in your growth. The stories of some of my sessions contained in these pages will help you understand how to heal your body, your mind, and your spirit as you learn about the nature of time, karma, destiny, and free will, as well as how each choice creates a new reality. I teach you how to connect with your guides, your teachers, and your higher self in any moment to feel connected to the divine and to receive guidance. You will come to understand how everything around you reflects you. Why is it important to forgive? Why you have the right to love yourself, and how the universe always supports you lovingly and unconditionally. This book is filled with exercises which makes it very practical and allow you to immediately apply what you are learning to your life. As you read Beyond Past Lives, you'll see how regression has helped others shift to a reality of health and well-being, and you will be guided to achieve the same for yourself. I often hear people say that Beyond Past Lives has opened a whole new world for them. Others say that the book has validated what they knew deep inside but never knew how to put it into words before. And others still find Beyond Past Lives to be so full of wisdom that after reading it many times over, they would carry it around at all times so that they can open it up at random as an oracle and immediately receive guidance and answers. I know you're going to love Beyond Past Lives, and I cannot wait to hear you telling me how it has impacted you and how it has changed your life. Until then, I'm sending you oceans of love.